I've got something for you today that I think you're going to like. I've created a tool that will help you really maximize your use of LinkedIn over time. When you think about LinkedIn and all the work that you've done this week, holy cow, nice job. Your profile's looking great. And you might be thinking, Brett, now what? Now, of course, there's more training ahead. There's more sprints you can do. And I really encourage you to do that. But when you think about the work you've done so far, you have created this online presence. You have created a powerful moment of truth for people. And so the question becomes, how much time do you need to spend to make sure that it stays looking good and that you actually harvest or take advantage of the opportunities that come? So that's what today's training is about, how to keep LinkedIn looking great. And it's all based on the Pareto principle, or the 80-20 rule. So we're going to talk about the least amount of time you can spend to get the maximum amount of return and not let this take over your life. Are you ready to go? Let's get started. Now, if you really want to take advantage of LinkedIn and you don't want to just be checking it every day and letting it take over your life, then we've got to schedule some time to spend in it. And what I'm going to ask you to do is twice a week. I'm going to say twice a week, block off 30 minutes. If you can block off 30 minutes twice a week, I think we can get everything we need for you to do to be successful with it. And really, you're going to do these 5 things. So what I want to do is I want to talk about these 5 things, what they mean, how to do them, and then I have created a tool. It's a scheduling tool that you can use to really just plan this out. So here we go. When you are trying to keep your profile optimized and you want to stay looking good and you want to interact with the people that are engaging with you, then there's 3 categories. First, there's just some managing your LinkedIn. Second is taking some time to really look at other people's stuff, and then taking a few minutes every week to keep your profile optimized. And you're going to do this in 5 steps. So I would say the way that I would do, I'll just kind of tell you on a macro level, is maybe twice a week. I would say Wednesday and Friday, you're going to block off 30 minutes for LinkedIn. And for that time, I would say on Wednesday, you're going to go through these three things, and then maybe this one. And then on Friday, you'll do these 3 things again, and then this one. And that way, you can very quickly sit down and use LinkedIn effectively. So the way it works is in managing LinkedIn, you're really going to do 3 things. First off, let's say we're scheduling a 30-minute block. You sit down, and the first thing you're going to do is you're going to check your connections requests. Has anyone reached out to connect with you? Now, I know you get notifications. So if you've set up LinkedIn on your phone, you might get notifications from time to time, or says so-and-so wants to connect with you. I'm going to discourage you from actually connecting with them in those moments on the fly. You want to wait until this 30-minute period of time to connect with them. And here's why. When you see those notifications, you go, oh yeah, you can connect with me, you connect with me, and you go back to what you're doing. And you've missed an important opportunity. Someone's come up and said, hey, I want to engage with you, I want to connect with you. And you said, sure, that's fine, and you kept on walking. That's effectively what you've done. But when we sit down for 30 minutes a week and we say, okay, I'm going to look at my connection requests. Whoever's connected with me, requested connect with me this week, I'm actually going to give them a proper experience. And so what we do is we click yes and we connect with them. But now what we want to do is we want to encourage a dialogue, encourage a conversation. So immediately after you connect with them, first you might look and see if they sent you a message. Sometimes they send you a message. Sometimes that's a generic message, but sometimes they put some heart and soul into it a little bit. And so we're going to respond to that. But what we're also going to do is we're going to really pretend that we just sat down to share a meal with them. And we've got this opportunity to just banter a little bit and get to know each other. This is what you want to do with every connection when they reach out to connect with you. And you might say, Brett, that seems a little over the top. But think about it. These are people that can be referral partners, potential clients. They're human beings that live on the planet. And if you show them love, it so blows them away. Like when I do this for people, they are just, it's just, I do it all the time, so it's not as big of a deal for me. But I'm just always surprised how if I get to talk to someone, they'll say, you know what, no one ever does that. And they appreciate it. And so what you're going to do is you're going to send them a message. And that message is basically going to say something. Here's what mine says. Often I'll say something like, thank you for reaching out to connect with me. I'm curious, how you found me. Or did someone refer you? Maybe we have some friends in common. But really what I wish I could do right now is I wish you and I could just sit down for lunch and get to know each other. And I'd love to learn a little bit more about your business and what you do and what your personal interests are. So if you don't mind my asking, would you be willing to just share a little bit with me, send me a message back, share a little bit, 2 or 3 things about your business, why you love it, and what opportunities we might be able to help each other out with. But also tell me a little bit about yourself. What are your interests and hobbies? And if you create a message that's like this, and of course you only have to really pen it out once and then save it in a Word document. And then when it comes to this 30-minute block, we sit down, we look, we might check out their profile real quick, see if we have anything in common, like, oh, we both went to the same college, or oh, we both, whatever, have this person in common. Whatever those things might be, we can incorporate that to customize our letter. But for the most part, we're going to send them a message that says, I'm interested in learning about who you are. Tell me a little bit more. And what happens is this starts a dialogue, and it's a deeper dialogue where they're going to share things with you. And then in the future weeks, when you sit down in your 30-minute blocks, you're actually going to respond to the things that they respond in return. And I have had so many opportunities that have come because I've started real dialogues with people. And yes, some people are just out there trying to get numbers and they're connected with everyone they can and they never respond. And I don't care, that's fine. But for those that do respond, it's a catalyst to hasten or increase the quickness in which you can build your relationship. We always joke that when you move to a new town, it takes 2 to 3 years to actually get friends. And you want to fast forward this process, right? Especially texting, it takes even longer. So I remember the other day, a colleague of mine, someone I just think the world of, she's a sales rep for one of the carriers I used to work with. She sent me a text. And when she sent me the text, she had a little question for me. And I just decided, you know what? I could respond with a text or I could call her back. Because I know, like, the text came, I saw it within like 3 minutes of when it came in. And so I just called her on the phone. I said, hey, I just thought I would respond to your text by a phone call instead of a text. Hope you don't mind. She was like, no. And she was so surprised. And then we had a conversation about 10 minutes and we were able to cover about 35,000 more topics than we ever could have when we're just doing a couple of texts. So just remember that these conversations need us to really jumpstart them. And sometimes you got to step up. And it's your job to step up when someone reaches out to you and say, you know what, thanks for reaching out. I'd love to find out how you heard about me, or what is it you're trying to do? And sometimes you can tell they're a salesperson, they're just trying to sell something. But either way, give them the benefit of the doubt. They're a real human. They probably go home at night to a family and they, may watch the same show you watch every night. You may like the same food. You just don't even know. I'm spending a lot of time on this, but this is so important that you get off on the right foot. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to sit down and you're going to look at your connection request and you're going to start a dialogue. And once you write this letter out, and that's part of your homework today, is to figure out what you want to say in that, then you save it and you don't have to rethink it every time, and you copy and paste it. And you might have a couple, you kind of create some over time. So that's connection requests. Take that one serious. It's so important. The second step you're going to do is you're going to look at your notifications. Now, you get these notifications all the time. Like if you have the phone app, you're going to see notifications, right? And some are going to be these connection requests, which I'm asking you to ignore till it's time to sit down and really take care of them. You're going to see that some of these other notifications are the same way. Some notifications, you're like, oh yeah, that's fine, that's fine. But some of them you're like, wow, that's a pretty good one. I need to make sure that when I sit down on my 30-minute block, I respond to those a little bit more in depth. And what you can do is you can actually, when you're sitting down, you can review all the recent notifications that you've received to see, are there any situations here? And I have the word evolve right here. And the reason that I say evolve is because this is an opportunity for you to evolve these social conversations, evolve that. So you get notifications, and your goal here is to evolve the conversation. Remember how when you're a kid, you prank phone call people and the goal was to see how long you get them to stay on the line before they hang up? I don't know, maybe you didn't play that game. It was kind of fun. But what you want to do is something similar, which is you get a notification, right? Whether someone's engaged with something that you've shared, or maybe it's just something they've posted. You're going to look at those and you say, okay, let me pick the top 3 or 4 that are the most important relationships that I want to evolve. Not the most interesting topics, because you want to look at the value of the person. Who are you trying to create a relationship with? And then look, is there any way that you can engage with them to evolve? It might be you send them a message. You might send a message, say, hey, you posted that thing this week. That really got me thinking, whatever it was that got you thinking about, and then you share that with them and you start a dialogue with them. Another thing that, because it's not just the chats. When we take the time to post stuff on social, yes, we get likes and comments and reshares, but when people actually reach out to us, it means a lot. I remember I was sitting on the ferry boat. I used to take a ferry boat every day from Bainbridge Island to Seattle when I worked at the super awesome carrier that I don't know if I should talk about, but I would go every day. And I remember one day I sat down by a guy, and he was actually an instructor, a sales instructor for Amazon. And we had become friends. Our kids were in Scouts together, and we went to the same church. And it was interesting. I hadn't really talked to him about what I did with my work, but he had noticed a post that I had created on LinkedIn. It was actually about a book. I think I had reviewed a book. And he says, you know, about 2 weeks ago, you were talking about this book, and I read it, and it was so amazing. And we just jumped into this huge conversation. This is happening all the time, where we're getting information from individual people, but we don't actually talk to them about it until, you know, weeks later. And you don't need to do that. When people are sharing stuff and they're reaching out, it really is effective for us to actually just go and connect with them. Send them a message within LinkedIn, or even an email message that says, hey, on LinkedIn, you shared this post, and because of that, I did this, and it got me thinking about this, and I just wanted to have a further discussion with you about it. I mean, use your own words. You know how to engage people. Just realize that all of these moments, these little engagement moments that are occurring, we are not capitalizing on them. We're not harvesting them. We're not using them to evolve our conversations. So when you get notifications on LinkedIn, yeah, you can look at them during the week, but I would say in your special 30 minutes a week where you sit down once or twice a week, you say, okay, I dealt with my connections. Now I'm gonna look at my notifications. Let me pick 3 or 5 people here that have shared something, that have evolved, that are important to me, either the relationship, or maybe the people they're connected with, whatever it might be, that you value their relationship, they're in the industry you're interested in, whatever those things are, and evolve those. Evolve the quality. Notch it up. Create deeper. Yeah, you can go like their post and add a little comment, but I would say really evolve it and send them a message and talk to them and start a conversation. And that's the second thing you need to do. Now, the third thing you need to do is you need to look at your inbox. So remember when you created connections and you sent people, you know, a request to actually have them talk to you, they're going to respond. And so the third thing that you want to do is you want to look at your inbox. And your inbox is going to be the responses for all these conversations, whether you started in the connection level or their notification emails, you're going to start getting responses. You get these little dialogues going. And it's like all of a sudden you got like, I mean, this gets crazy. Like you start off and you're like, wow, I got like 20 pen pal conversations going on. But before long, you got like 300. And it's this amazing thing, if you want it to be, to keep connected and engage with people. And it's through this that I've had the opportunity to meet some amazing people. I remember there was a guy, is it Howard Moskowitz? Oh, I need to go look at the book. Where's my book, Selling Blue Elephants? Yeah, this guy right here. This guy right here. Howard Moskowitz, okay? Howard Moskowitz, he's the guy that back in the day he's a food scientist, and he figured out how much sugar you should have in Coke. Like what's the right amount of Coke? He's also the guy, I can't remember if it was Prego or what spaghetti it was. He figured out like what are the different qualities, like the different kinds of spaghetti are the best. He's this very interesting guy. And I reached out to him on LinkedIn. I said, hey, you know what? Seems like if I recall, I watched, and this is years ago, I watched this Malcolm Gladwell TED Talk, and he was talking about you, and I do social media, and I was thinking about some of the work you're doing, and it just seemed really interesting, so I wanted to connect with you. And guess what? He's like, sure, let's connect. And so we did. And then I just did what I do, which is I try to create a little more conversation, and we had some exchanges. And I remember he sent me a message. He says, you're in social media. I'm actually about to release a new book, and I'm just going to send you the PDF of it. I'm going to send you a link to the PDF. Read it. I'd love to get your feedback on it. And that happened, right? In fact, what happened later was he said, hey, I'm going to be in Seattle for this conference. Would you like to get together for coffee? And it got real fast. And I was like, this guy is like featured on television. He's a super big, cool guy from New York. And I remember that day, it was back actually before I was even in insurance. It was back when I used to teach real estate training classes all over the state of Washington. I was a big CE trainer in the technology space for realtors. And that day, I actually was going to be scheduled to be on the other side of the state to teach a workshop or a couple classes. And I just remember thinking like, whew, that I dodged a bullet because I was so nervous to meet this guy. But at the same time, I was totally bummed because I didn't get the chance to hang out with him. So I just share this to say, people are people, and when we give them the chance to open up and share with us, so many of us are so starved to share what we want to share. You know, when you go in and you ask people, whether it's on the notification level or on the connection level or responding to their inbox, and you make it about them and you focus on really listening to what they say and what are the things that they're talking about, and quit making it about you, just make it about them and give them some room to share. It blows my mind how quickly people will feel trust with you and they will share things with you. I think because a lot of us are starved. We're starved to share, or we're just selfish and we like to talk about ourselves. Either way, take advantage of this and share this stuff. Share your interest in other people. And I don't mean fabricate it and manufacture. I mean literally quit thinking about yourself and check out their profile, find something that you genuinely find interesting, that you want to learn more about them, and ask them about that and start some conversations. And what you're going to find is that all of a sudden LinkedIn becomes this really fun place, because you never know, which of your, I call them pen pals, but a lot of times these are the beginnings of relationships that you evolve into normal ones, where before long you're actually having lunch together and doing business deals together. But anyways, it's just this powerful thing. So I get kind of excited about it, and I just hope you can catch the vision of not just doing it on the fly, not just like while you're, interrupting your show or at the dinner table. Don't do this stuff. You have to sit down for 20 to 30 minutes at a time, once or twice a week, and say, I'm going to be on LinkedIn now, and I'm going to connect with these people, and I'm not going to let other things distract me. I'm actually going to focus on this. And if you'll do that, it's that 10%, 20% effort that's going to get you the biggest return. And you're going to start a lot of conversations and a lot of opportunities where it just pays off over and over again. So do that. So that's step one, okay? And take I guess the thing I didn't talk about with inbox is, on your inbox, when you're looking at these messages that are evolving, there comes a point where it makes sense to take it offline. Whether it's to build a stronger relationship with the person or it's to talk about sales. So when we start talking, this is probably more for the millennials than us old school people, because we don't want to be online talking anyways. But a lot of times those of us who are younger, not us, I'm not younger, but my kids, right? These young kids, right? You're under 30, 35, and you're so used to doing dialogue this way that it is too comfortable for you. And what you want to do is start saying, no, wait a minute. Is this a conversation that's evolved to the point that I can actually take it offline? Could I actually turn this into a phone call, into a lunch meeting, into a drop by the office kind of thing, and actually engage with the person in real life and show that extra level of focus and of interest in them? So I'm going to say, when you're looking at the stuff in your inbox and you're evolving these social conversations and deepening these relationships, there comes a point where, it's time to just do this. Quick example, I know I've talked about this one before. When I first started my social media business, so I had been a real estate investor, and the market was crashing. It's like the 2008, 2009 period, and I needed another source of income. And I was just learning about social media, and I realized that I could actually create a business to teach continuing education courses to realtors, and then use them as a funnel to bring in and then sell them website and social media solutions. And to do this all, I'll try to make this really short. I realized that the director of education at the Washington Realtors Association was this key person I needed to have a relationship with, because if they basically let me, then I could actually be endorsed to teach courses throughout the entire state, through all the different county associations. And so I had a very strategic goal in making a real relationship with this person. And I wasn't faking it. I wasn't like, oh, I only like you because of what you can do. I genuinely expressed interest in this person. We get connected on Facebook, and basically we found out both our kids had eczema, and we shared some common things, and I used that stuff to build a relationship with them. So there was familiarity and proximity. If you've ever read The Like Switch, it's another great book. I guess I'm feeling like books today. Read The Like Switch, and we can learn about really the math that it goes into building relationships with people. I was doing that, And I, even to this day, I think she's one of the finest, coolest people I know. Anyways, there came a point where I was like, okay, I need to actually secure this appointment, and I need to ask a favor. Would you be willing to endorse me so I can become a certified CE trainer so I can take my business to this next level? And I did not make that request over email. I did not make that request over Facebook. There comes a time in every relationship where you need to actually just do things in real time. And I remember I sent her a message and I said, hey, I'd love to talk to you about some ways I think I could, I'd be interested to learn more about the education you're providing and see if it, if any of it made sense for me to help out. Could I come down and talk to you? And we set an appointment and I went down. I lived in a little town called Port Ludlow. She lived in Tacoma. It was an hour and a half drive for me. I drove down there, met with her, but was able to build even a stronger relationship that it was, that was probably a niche pin moment in developing that relationship that led to the success that I had. Within 18 months, I was teaching 98% of the technology CE training in the state of Washington through that relationship, because she would reach out to the counties and say, hey, if you want CE classes on, back then it was like how to use an iPad, because this was like 2009, and what is a blog, right? It was some of this stuff. But anyways, it's just a fantastic example to say there comes a point where you need to take conversations offline. So do that. Don't hide behind the screen when you should step out. And that's just a general sales thing. Okay, so man, I'm taking a little bit longer to do this than I thought. I thought this would be like a 5-minute training. So I apologize, but hopefully this extra stuff makes it worthwhile. Connection request, notification, inbox, do that. All right, so the next one is auditing others' profiles. So what you want to do is you just want to go into other people's profiles and check them out. And you're doing it for a couple of reasons. You're doing it to see if you can get any cool ideas that you can emulate on your own, but you're also doing it as a way to start generating a relationship with them or creating a relationship with them. So often think about, who do I have on the books to talk to this next week? Who am I going to have lunch with on a couple days? Or whose renewals am I going to go talk to? Go in and look at their profiles, and you can do a couple of things. Number one, you can learn about them. And then that's going to give you something to bring to the table when it comes time to have that engagement. Two, you can actually take some of the cool stuff they've done and the way they've shared things or used their profile, and you can emulate it on your own to make yours look better. And then third, I would say, is think about all the cool training that you've received with this stuff. You could actually say, you know what, I actually just recently took this training that showed me how to use LinkedIn as a sales producer, and guess what? I don't care. You can share with them the worksheets. You can share with them this training. Okay, if they want to go from top to bottom, then I would hopefully maybe they'll buy it. But if you've got a worksheet like the deep dive or the LinkedIn, you want to give them those worksheets and sit down and share them with that stuff, share that stuff with them, totally fine. Okay, you have my permission to take this opportunity you have to build a relationship with other business by saying, hey, I can show you something I've recently learned. That would make me so happy. Okay, I would love that. So audit other people's profile. So the last one is keep your profile optimized. Guess what? There's probably some homework that you haven't got done yet. There's some stuff that you meant to do in the last few days that you just haven't got to. Well, guess what? In that 30-minute block, you can schedule time to do that. So I would say, of all your homework, make a list of all the things that you still need to do, and then maybe number them in a priority of what are the items you would need to do first, second, third. And then just when you block off that time, once you get through this stuff, whatever time you have left, spend a little bit of time working on that. This is an amazing way, within 30 minutes or an hour a week, maybe 2 30-minute sessions, you can actually really, really, really leverage LinkedIn to do so much for developing your relationships with your prospects, deepening with your clients, like all the stuff you can do with deepening relationships with your existing clients. And it doesn't take that much time, but you have to be focused and do it on a focused amount of time. Don't let other things distract you. So to help you with this, I've got a worksheet or a tool. I call it the scheduling tool. Actually it says keep LinkedIn looking great, but when you look at this tool, you can see right here, I broke it up into Wednesday and Friday. And what I've done is the managing the social profiles. You do those first 3 bulleted items that we talked about every day. So on Wednesday, do it, and then do it on Friday. But then you can just switch. So if I go back, really what we're talking about here is you're going to do this on Wednesday and do this on Friday, but then maybe you do this one on Wednesday and this one on Friday, and that just kind of breaks it up a little bit. So the idea is schedule time out to do this, okay? It's not complicated. It just takes a commitment on your end to do this. And when you do this, here's what I want to hear from you. I want to hear in the weeks to come, I want you to send me a message, whether it's a LinkedIn message, Facebook message, email message, text message, a letter to my house, I don't care. I want to find out about the new business that you've generated. Just almost feels like a happenstance in response, or some of the relationships that you've developed that you're really excited about, some of the opportunities that have come your way. Share it in the Boss Social group, that's fine. This is a tool that if you use it, it makes all the difference in the world. And all you're doing is scheduling time every week in little focused moments to do this stuff. But you got to do it. If you just like keep doing it when the little notifications pop up and go, oh, yep, I'll connect with them. And I got a few minutes here. And you can do that, and that's fine. But if it's creating a less powerful engagement with the person, or you just click yes to connect with them, but you don't follow up with that message, or someone sends you a message, but you just have a minute and you respond like with a sentence instead of a paragraph that would really show that you read it and you responded. We're just talking about human nature here. We're talking about how to develop relationships with people, sadly using text messaging. But we want to just do that to the point you can bring them into real. The reason it's powerful and the reason that it's so awesome is because when you go fishing in a lake, you got one pole, right? Maybe you got two poles if you're really crazy. But with this, it's literally like you have thousands of poles out there, right? You have this whole network that has all these opportunities to connect with all these different people. And it's like you're reeling in, right? You're developing proximity and relationship with all these different people in all these different places, and you could never do that, right? One of the people who are just dear, dear, dear to my heart is a woman that I met working at the Hartford. She was a trainer, and she's gone on and started her own business, and I've gone on and started my own business, and she lives in Baltimore, and I live right now, I live in the Northwest, right? So the whole other side of the United States. But because of LinkedIn, because of text messaging, we have been able to have a couple of dinners, just a couple, not even that many. And we've just connected. And I just love seeing the way her business works and what she's doing. And so she'll call me up and I'll answer some stuff, and then I'll call her up and she'll answer some stuff. Without social media, I don't think this relationship would exist. It just wouldn't. There's no way, because you need these opportunities to see their stuff, to keep them top of mind. And we just don't have room for that many people in our life. But what you find is with social media, you start connecting with all these different people, and you put it out there and you write that message and say, I'm really interested in you. I want to learn about what you're doing. And you go make it not just selfish. You start generating some really interesting relationships. Not interesting, but good, productive. Just the other day, I got a text message from literally a former business partner, a guy I owned a business with like 15 years ago. We owned a tile and granite franchise. And he was doing something, and he thought of me. And because of social media, he could go in and see what I was up to. And then he called me and left me a message, and I called him, and we got to talking, and we were like, wow, maybe there's another business for us in the future. So this stuff is so real. And it just seems like for most of us who have not used LinkedIn a lot, we think, okay, yeah, there's this thing these kids are doing. But no, this is really, it's a get to know me tool. It's a tool that you can use to find interesting people and systematically start developing a relationship with them so you can take the advantage of that relationship, right? Which in our case here is mostly building your book of business, finding opportunities, and giving back, helping other people with the knowledge that you have. So there's rewards in doing this. This video is, sorry, so much longer than I meant it to be, but I just don't think I'm going to cut it down. I think I'm going to give it to you. You're just getting Brett straight, right? I know half the time the words roll out of my mouth and they're not like I listened back and I'm like, wow, you never even finished that sentence, or you got the wrong word and you said the wrong thing. I hope you feel the spirit of what I'm sharing here. I hope that you will take time every week, 30 minutes in your blocks, and do these things. Do all this stuff. And if you do it, the money that you've invested in this course will be pennies on the return in comparison to what it's going to do for you. All right, that's it. This week is over. This sprint is done. And you did the bonus. So good luck. Good luck. I'll see you in future lessons, and I'll see you in the Boss Social group. Don't forget that there is also another module over here, let's see, here, yeah, over there. I'm a little bit confused here. That gives you a certificate, and you can download and print off that certificate, and then you can hang that up on your wall and say, man, my LinkedIn looks great. Okay, I know just what to post. I'm the man. All right, thanks so much, and I hope you have a great day. And say, man, my LinkedIn looks great. Okay, I know just what to post. I'm the man or the woman. I'm not a woman. You might be a woman. Have a great day. Thank you for watching. Thank you for doing this work. I hope it's as beneficial to you as it's been to other agents who have done it. And I'll see you. I'll look forward to seeing you in real life when opportunity permits. And if you want, I look forward to seeing messages from you in my LinkedIn inbox where you're actually starting to develop a relationship with me if I can help you and your business more.